Sir Shigoiva Kharja agus a Comrade. It's me Sean Punk Vinin Jarrig. Howdy friends and comrades. I'm known as Red Finian Punk. Although some call me Neil or Niall, but that doesn't really matter. It's that time again when I find some old clothes that needed to be burned because they were mouldy. And much like capitalism, you can't really deal with mould. You have to just get rid of it completely. If it won't boil out, if it won't bleach out, you have to burn it. And these clothes weren't really bleachable, so they had to go. I thought I'd film it because, well, first up, I haven't recorded anything for quite a while, mental health problems and all that. Secondly, I thought I'd use this as a kind of a nice little analogy for the state of the world. Maybe it's a foreshadowing, or even a foreglowing. Hey, it's a fire after all. Maybe a foreshadowing of what's going to happen soon. I hope it doesn't, but God help us if we all end up in mass graves because of the rise of fascism at the minute. I genuinely do fear for that. Capitalism in crisis always brings them out, and capitalism is in its worst crisis perhaps ever, so look what's happening. Fascists on the march, fascists in the White House and so on. They're soon coming to power here in the UK. They're on the march in the Irish Free State and in the north of Ireland, all funded by English right-wing money. But that's another story. The left is completely useless at the minute. I wish it wasn't. People in it are good, don't get me wrong, but it's a mess and there's no united front, there's no mass movement. So they tend to sort of tail people, individual acts of like adventurism by people like Luigi Mangione. Yes, good luck to him taking down that Brian Thompson fucker. CEO was responsible for many deaths and much misery. But Luigi isn't exactly what you call he's not exactly what you call a left-wing revolutionary, is he? Come on. Let's stop the fawning, even he's getting sick of this. However, I won't go on about that so much now. What I will talk about is Ukraine. Although, actually I won't go on about it too much, there's an awful lot to say there, and maybe I'll do that in another video with some friends and comrades. But let's just say this current shit show with Trump, Zelensky and all this crap, and this bullshit from shitlibs in the USA accusing Trump of trying to turn the United States into a Russian colony is cringeworthy. It reminds me of the kind of British liberals and leftists, so-called leftist sockdems in the 80s who accused Thatcher of trying to turn the United Kingdom into an American colony. No. What that was in the 80s was that the UK is not the big empire that it used to be. It's playing second fiddle to its former colony with the USA, which has surpassed it. By a similar token, the United States is a crumbling and decaying empire, and it's falling apart, as is European imperialism. The EU is a fucking shambles. So what they're doing is now, they're accusing this far-right proto-fascist Trump, or maybe he is a literal fascist, that's debatable, but I'll talk about that another time. This fascist Trump is perhaps making alliances with Vladimir Putin, who's a right-wing reactionary proto-fascist as well. That doesn't mean he's a traitor to America. America is an abomination. It's a colonial settlement. It's founded on genocide, slavery, and violence. Russia wants to replace it. Trump is perhaps doing whatever political maneuvering he's doing. He's not making the United States into a Russian colony. The USA is just a spent force. Russia's trying to replace it. Trump's just trying to make political capital out of that. Biden, Harris, Clinton and all those shower of shitlib Democrat fuckers, we're just doing it by trying to make Ukraine an American colony. That's all it is. And trying to say that Zelensky is this glorious hero, are you for fucking real? Both sides in that war are bad. Both sides are neoliberal, oligarch-ridden. Both of them have literal Nazis on their side who belong in this fucking fire. Both of them have been murdering civilians and ethnic minorities. Both of them have been using the working class in their respective countries, and particularly in Ukraine, as cannon fodder. And how can you support either one of them? We have these shitlibs, so-called leftists, who vote Labour in the UK or Fianna Fáil or whatever in Ireland, and vote Democrat, or they don't vote at all, and they call themselves leftists and they're waving blue and yellow flags. One's like, bear with me, I'm holding on to this with my phone in my hand, but flags like this abomination. This flag was used by the Banderite faction in World War II. They had armbands with yellow and blue on their fucking left arms, much like the Nazi swastika displayed by their Nazi puppet masters, and they used to wave these blue and yellow flags while they were engaging in pogroms, anti-Semitic slaughter and genocide at the hands of their Nazi puppet masters. With that, this flag, this fucking tacky, gaudy looking rag, belongs on the fucking fire. Now, that's the shitlibs I've dealt with. Now dealing with the so-called, these so-called Marxist, Leninists, revisionists who fawn over Putin and wave this fucking flag, this Tsarist, pre-revolutionary imperialist Russian flag, which was the flag of Imperial Tsarist Russia before the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917. It was resurrected and put back up there after the fall of the Soviet Union by the right-wingers, Tsarists amongst them. Supporting this, and you call yourself a communist, you're a fucking joke. This flag also belongs on the fucking fire. Both of them should be burned in the funeral pyre of history. Putin is an aspiring imperialist. He wants to, pretty much in his own words, rebuild the glorious Russian Empire. He's a promoter of greater Russian chauvinism, both of which Lenin and Stalin utterly denounced. Both of those leaders, by the way, those terrible communist despots, recognized Ukraine as a legitimate nation and a legitimate country. That's why the Ukraine was a Soviet socialist republic, as was Russia. Putin has completely contradicted this and said that this is like a false nation, and he said that the Russian Empire falling was a great tragedy of history or something to that effect. By the same token, this Volodymyr Zelensky, just because he's Jewish doesn't mean he doesn't have Nazis on his side. The Azov Battalion are a real thing. Yes, the Russian side have propagated stuff about it and gone on about groups like Svoboda, a neo-Nazi party. You'll see them, they do a three-fingered salute, much like that with their Nazi salutes. Also, there's a group called Pravi Sektor, or Right Sector, another thing known to have a red and black flag. Pity I didn't make one of those to throw on the fire as well. But hey, some left-wing groups use that flag as well, but that's another story. They are all still involved with the Zelensky government. Also, Zelensky is a proud Zionist. As I understand it, the so-called IDF, the IOF, the Israeli Occupation Force, has been sending soldiers to train these right-wing soldiers in the Ukrainian army, including neo-Nazis. Yes, Nazis and Zionists have been in cahoots with each other before as well, partly in the foundation of the State of Israel, but that's another thing I'll go into another time. So with that in mind, do you really want to wave blue and yellow flags? If you really want to wave a fucking Ukrainian flag to say you stand with the people of Ukraine, look up the Ukrainian SSR flag. It's a red flag with a hammer and sickle and a red star in the corner, like the Soviet flag generally was, but it had a blue stripe across the bottom. That is the Soviet, and the best representation of Ukraine historically. The Russian one was similar to that, but it had a vertical line along the left side next to the hammer and sickle. If you want to wave a Russian flag, wave that one. Don't wave the fucking pre-revolutionary Tsarist flag. Can I put it any clearer? Fuck the Kiev regime, fuck the Moscow regime, fuck the far-right fucking lunatics on both sides, including the Azov Battalion, Pravi Sektor and Svoboda on the Ukrainian side, the Wagner group, who are admittedly, they were dealt with by Putin in a kind of night of the long knives. Do you really think they're all gone? Do you really think that the Russian side doesn't have far-right blood and honour types on it as well? Look at the fucking far-right in Russia, look what they're doing. This is the same shit we had 30 years ago and 25 years ago in Bosnia, 30 years ago in Bosnia, and 25 years ago in Kosovo, 26 years ago now. Far-right Serbian nationalists doing the same thing. And in Bosnia we had Croat Neo-Ustashi, in Serbia Neo-Chetniki, and in the Bosnian side we had these kind of Wahhabist Bin Laden-affiliated far-right lunatics, some of whom had a fondness of the Handschar division of the SS, who were Bosnian Muslim division in World War II. I could go on and on and on, but there's only so much time I have to do on this sort of stuff. Can I make it any clearer? Fuck imperialism, fuck capitalism, fuck fascism, fuck racism, fuck transphobia, fuck homophobia, fuck misogyny, and fuck the whole thing. It's bullshit. We need some genuine grassroots fucking revolutionary force here, not some fucking tailism on some individual acts of violence against the CEO, not some joining in with some bourgeois party. If you're going to collaborate with bourgeois left-wing parties, by all means do, but don't tail them, contradict their bad takes, try and win people over to a genuine cause. I mean, I know I'm not one to talk now, I'm not doing much at the minute. I have tried in the past, burnt myself out, nearly had a nervous fucking breakdown, but hey, I do what I can. What more can I say? Anyway, that fire's somewhat beautiful. I just hope it doesn't, it's not like a kind of foreshadowing of a war that might come in the near future. If I was a religious man, I'd pray that it didn't, but I'm an atheist, so hey. Anyway, I've wittered on for over 10 minutes now, so I'm going to stop. Thank you to anyone who wants to watch this. If you made it this far, as the Tabernacle would say, thank you for watching. As Socialism for All would say, join my Patreon if you want. Anyway, much love to all. Take care of yourselves. Don't let fascists dox you. Learn a martial art. And learn to fight back. I'm Red Finian Punk. And Punk Finian Jarag. Slán go fóla chuirde agus a comradí, agus go nairi an bóthar libh go léir.